Well, we've got a great group. Look at this great group here this month. I'm just thrilled and excited. Thank you all for being here. Let's get started here a little bit informally. First off, let me remind you of the rules we set up for recording. So the rule is simple. But if you want us to pause the recording to offer feedback, you are welcome to do that. And we'll certainly gladly respect that. We recognize that, this recording is for this group. I think the average number of views of our recordings is 1. So it's not like these are getting a lot of traction, but I can also understand if you don't want to be recorded saying something. So thank you all for being here. This is just such a great group. I'm just thrilled to have you all here and really appreciate all the different perspectives you bring to this discussion. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for you. I am convinced that in our little way, we are making a difference in the world. And if we keep at this, we'll make a big difference in the world over time. So thank you. Let me just drop a recording to last month's meeting in the chat. I think all of you who wanted to, I sent this out before, so you've got this, but there's the link to last month's recording. I am going to use today, as I usually do, a timer. And I want to make sure that you can see it. So I'm going to start the timer. Can you all see the timer? The timer is supposed to be somewhere on my face or near it. Okay, so you can see it. Okay, so I'll use that. So when you're presenting today, you may need to pin my face or something so that you can see that. Ooh. Someone's in twice. Oh, there it is. Yeah. It's my sweet wife is in twice. So let's do some quick introductions. We've got a few people who are new to the group this time, so I want to make sure that we do thoughtful introductions. At the same time, there are a lot of us here, and we want to have time for discussion. So I'm going to set a 1-minute timer for each intro and ask Amy to go first, since she is new to the group.
Sure, happy to. Thank you for having me. I'm Amy Short. I'm presently based in Lisbon, Portugal. I was previously fairly involved with the Angels of Main Street, which I think is, somewhat similar group. And I'm excited to be here and dig a little bit deeper into due diligence. I need to be careful because of my profession to say that I'm just here on a personal level and nothing to do professionally. Thank you so much. I look forward to participating.
We're thrilled to have you, Amy. Are you allowed to tell us what you do professionally?
I'm a registered representative of a registered affiliate of a broker-dealer. So I need to be really careful with FINRA rules.
Oh, yes. Having been a broker-dealer myself, I get that. So we're thrilled to have you. You'll bring some expertise.
Delighted to be here. Thanks.
Why don't I just let the rest of you volunteer as you choose to introduce yourselves? Just speak up.
I am happy to go next. Thanks a lot, Devin. My name is Max Winsel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hytrax. I was put through due diligence last month here, which was really exciting. I got introduced to this group through Kevin Jones, actually, and a few connections. I'm currently based in the Appalachians in Boone, North Carolina. German by origin, so closer to where you are, Amy, on that side of the pond. And yeah, with Hytrax, we're building towards the first marketplace for crowdsourced biodiversity data by empowering beekeepers with technology and leveraging bees as biosensors. Super excited to be here, and we just hit our first milestone on WeFunder last Friday. So thanks to everybody who contributed from this group. It is an exciting ride. And yeah, I would love to get to know this group and you all better. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Max. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
Or I'll go next. I was trying to do the ladies first thing, but my name is Bill Houston. I'm the founder of CrowdMax, which is an investment crowdfunding strategy consulting agency. I'm also a board member at NC3. Excited to be here. Really excited to learn about due diligence and how to do due diligence other than on the marketing. So, this is a really great opportunity. It's an opportunity to meet some new people and to learn about some new technologies. Really like what you said there, Max, because I'm really into that green space. So again, Bill Houston from CrowdMax, and thank you.
Thanks for being here, Bill.
I'm Chip House. I have two titles worth mentioning. I am Senior Fellow for Innovation at the Alliance for Peace Building and the fairy godparent we didn't know we needed at Zebras Unite. And Amy, my wife, is a retired federal employee, and she used to have to make exactly that statement, but for other reasons. And I'll be a jerk and pass it to Maya, who clapped at me. Therefore, she gets to go next.
So hi, everyone. I haven't been here in a few months, so it's very nice to see some old faces and some new faces as well. My name is Maya Olmsted. I'm a founding member of Zebras Unite. I'm also an activator with Coralus and a mover and a shaker with an organization based out of Canada called Spring Accelerator. I'm in this space entirely as a person of interest in all things crowdsourced, crowdfunding, whether that's knowledge or finances. So I'm always really excited to be in the room. And we'll pick Jacqueline next. How about that, Jackie? You good?
Yes, thank you. Good to see you, Maya, and everybody else. I'm Jackie Abramian. I do PR and corporate communications for technology companies that are global as well as social enterprises. And I sit on a couple of boards that are either impact investors or just NGOs. And I also contribute a lot of articles to magazines and kind of focus on women, social entrepreneurs, change makers, and social justice. Happy to be here.
We're thrilled to have you, Jackie. Thank you so much. We got a few more.
I'll unmute and go ahead. Patrice, go ahead.
Okay, well, that's a good people here. So my name is Patrice Gayton, and I'm operation manager for an NGO that's based in Haiti. It's called ISPD, Institute for Health and Development and Population. We work mostly with HIV, anything that's related to health, giving them. We have different clinics, and our main funder, main donor is USA. So all your tax dollars at work, most of your American dollars at work, and aside, I'm working with a private equity firm based in New York that's led by a Haitian American, and we're working to look at different type of companies and whether it's there in the States or whether they're in Haiti, in order to source funding. And that's just it.
Fantastic. Thrilled to have you here. Chris, do you want to go now?
I will, and I'm going to pass it to somebody else too, because that just seemed like such a good solution to this dead air problem. So anyway, and I love it came organically out of the group. So Chris Miller from Adrian, Michigan, small community in the southern part of the state of Michigan. I was an economic developer when the Jobs Act was passed in our community of 22,000. And my path has led me to become one of the founders of the National Coalition for Community Capital, NC3, that Bill referenced earlier. He's on the board, and I'm currently the board chair of that organization. And I spend way more time than I should in a volunteer organization doing that work. So essentially, we're about community capital, about having folks in the community invest and own businesses in their communities. So for us, it's community first and capital in service to communities. So. And I'm going to pass it to my friend Jackie Logan.
Anyhow, hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late. I just was en route traveling from New York to DC for the exciting ARPA conference here in DC, which is basically the government funding all these new technologies in energy to come up with some of the solutions that we so desperately need. And I'll have the honor to join a panel tomorrow afternoon, speaking with both the Department of Energy and some other folks. And the topic is beyond VCs. And it's really talking about, different ways to fund activities that are going out there in the climate solution space. So my name is Jackie Logan. I'm co-founder and chief investment officer at Raise Green. Raise Green is the climate investment platform. We work with climate. We work with clean energy projects and climate solution technology companies across the United States, looking to raise capital for in a variety of manners. We can do either equity or debt facilitate that for these companies on our fully online platform. And the most wonderful thing about it is that companies can open up investment to just about anyone. As long as you're 18 years and older, you can pop on our marketplace, sign up for an account in a few moments, and take some climate action today. Raise Green was first incorporated in 2018. We got our license from the SEC to be a funding portal. So we issue securities under regulation crowdfunding, our Reg CF, not donations, not rewards-based, but real securities. And in July of 2020, we launched our first offering. We've done 24 securities offerings to date. We've worked with amazing companies like Block Power, which is really one of the new upcoming climate tech companies in energy efficiency, expanding across the United States. We've done offerings for the Connecticut Green Bank, and we've worked with small climate techs, just, doing their pilot projects. We're open, our doors are open to support all these projects, work with folks. And then excitingly, it's open up to their community, our community, to everybody to jump on board and put $100 in and make an investment today to take some climate action. My background is the securities markets. That's what I bring to Raise Green, plus a tremendous amount of dedication to the mission. And I absolutely love anything that Devin Thorpe does. So I am honored to be a part of this group.
We're thrilled to have you here, Jackie. Thank you so much. Thank you. Who's left? We've got a few people left.
I'm left. I'll do it.
Go ahead,
Hello,
Celeste.
everyone. Good to be with you. I'm Celeste Mergens. I'm the founder of the global nonprofit Days for Girls International. We help women, girls, and communities have access to menstrual care and health education in 145 countries on 6 continents. We've reached 2.8 million women and girls so far. I'm also a delegate for the World Food Prize. My background is global sustainable development. I have a master's degree in that, and more importantly, love the practice of it, and love to see where community can be the change makers for the issues they face. And that's me. Glad to be here.
We're thrilled to have you. Kevin, did you introduce yourself yet?
No, yeah. Hi, I'm Kevin Jones. I'm a serial entrepreneur, convener in conferences and newspapers and magazines and things. We had the SOCAP conference and been missing this for the past few months because we've been deeply engaged in building our next neighborhood economics conference in Jackson, Mississippi in April, about a month from now. And it's pretty well wrapped up, all those sorts of the content sides. And so I'm glad to be here. Neighborhood economics gets the money to the folks who don't normally get it, whereas SOCAP kind of funded college kids trying to save the world. So We go
That's
with the
great.
folks who don't get the money. Yep.
Well, it's fun to be on a parallel path with you, Kevin. Thank you very much for joining us here. We're thrilled to have you. Gail, are you the last one? Gail, are you there?
She has a nicer room than you do, Deb.
Yeah, she. Well, can you argue that that would be inappropriate?
Oh, no.
No. So Gail's having trouble with her microphone, so she's not able to introduce herself. So she'll have to shout upstairs when she's got feedback for us. But Gail is a retired school teacher, and everything I know I learned from her. And so I am thrilled to have her be part of the group. And I'm also thrilled to see you all sharing your LinkedIn profiles. I think I'm already connected to all of you. I hope. I don't think there are any exceptions. But I think that's great to connect with each other. All righty. So I apologize. I've had a little internet trouble this afternoon. I hope that doesn't repeat. I have one of those fancy schmancy connections, but its uptime isn't as good as I would like. So I'm hoping that break won't recur. But let me remind you that you can all find the record of the investments we've made at log.impactcherub.com. So at log.impactcherub.com, that's something you might even be able to remember, but that log is the log of all the investments we've made. And so that's a handy, ready reference if you're trying to remember, and it includes links to the crowdfunding portal. So there's a place where you can go and you can find a link to, crazy things like Hive tracks and stuff like that, so you can make your investment if you haven't done it yet, which is a good reminder that at last month's meeting, we decided to invest in all three of the companies we considered, which were the three were Pink Bench Distilling and Hive Tracks and Von Perry. And so that was one of the few times we've decided to invest in everything we considered. So just a reminder there. And again, the links are in the log if you go there to see them. You can find kind of the agenda for today's meeting in my newsletter. I just dropped the link to that in the chat so you can see that. But now we're ready to hear our diligence reports. Oh, crumb. I bet Fiona was going to give us one, and she's not here. She'll probably email me and tell me what's going on. There she is. There's an email from Fiona. Okay. Yeah, she's just not able to join us today, but she did send her report. So let me just see if I can't muddle through that in a way that would allow us to have that discussion. But seed sheet, you'll remember, is, let me turn on the timer for myself. We'll keep this whole discussion to 10 minutes. But Seed Sheet is the company that makes these rollout pre-planted, pre-seeded sheets that you can literally roll out into your garden. And they were on Shark Tank, and so they got some great attention, and they've been in business now for 6 or 8 years. The sheets include organic fertilizer, and it also sort of requires that you create your own raised bed, right, that you can plant the seeds in. And the seed sheets last for 2 years before they have to be retired. They have had a total of 5 million in revenue since they were launched, including 2 million last year. They raised earlier in a We Funder round 556,000, and now they're doing this round and are currently around $933,000 and hoping to reach 1.6 million and hope to achieve profitability this year. So as is common, they're using a SAFE and with a valuation cap of $15 million. Their financial statements at this point are now 2021 financial statements, so pretty dated, almost meaningless at this point, but they had $145,000 of cash on hand. And so let's see, she says they know they're not profitable. While the company has been profitable in certain months, it has not been profitable on a year-to-year basis. With a successful We Funder campaign, they expect to reach profitability within 9 months. They estimate they will need to raise 1.6 million in order to reach profitability, currently on just under $1 million on We Funder. Over the next 6 months, they expect average monthly revenues of $44,000 on average monthly expenses of $51,000. So if they hit this target for funding, they think they won't need to raise capital for another 24 months. They plan to expand into retail next. Currently, they just sell directly via online sales. The market is, kind of this growing interest in home gardening and growing your own food. And so it is a $55 billion marketplace. All that, the stuff that goes into gardening at home. 40% of first-time gardeners fail, and Seed Sheet makes it relatively easy to be a first-time gardener. Millennials make up 29% of gardeners and are growing quickly, and 78% of U.S. households gardened in 2021. And 17 million started for the first time. So Fiona's pros. This is a simple, very user-friendly product, and sales have grown exponentially year on year. It supports the environment and home economy, saving on food costs. Home food gardens are becoming more popular, concentrating in this round on the development of their most popular product, and plus taking it into retail. Cons: reliant on a small team in a single facility in Vermont where production takes place. They have no other income streams. They're not profitable yet. The cost to produce Seed Sheets isn't covered by the selling price, as all their current products are currently discounted. That's a big red flag, isn't it? They may be hoping to make that up in scale, right? As you grow in volume, sometimes your costs can drop. Not a particularly diverse management team, but some of the management have invested their own money in the company. Her final recommendation: their financial modeling does seem to be in need of some review, but they do seem to be on an upward trajectory in terms of expansion of sales, the ease of use of their products, and the benefit to households and the environment and market interest. With it being a $100 investment, I would recommend investing. So that's her recommendation. What do you guys think? Some of you probably have looked at this. What else would you point out about Seed Sheet?
Devin, did they, and I apologize if you said it, my Wi-Fi has come in and out. Do they talk about their competitors at all?
Fiona's analysis did not include any discussion of competitors. So I don't know. And I don't remember seeing that. There are a lot of people in this space, right? In the home gardening space. And I don't know how good their IP is. So it would be tempting for someone to try and mimic this if they get some real traction. The tension would be, could you buy Seed Sheet, the company, or would you just compete with them? And Home Depot, for instance, which has big gardening, is a challenging partner in that regard.
Well, I happened to be in the market on the weekend, and I saw them on Shark Tank many moons ago, and I was like,
okay.
Cool. And then it just so happened on the weekend I was in ShopRite, and they have the seeds up already, and on the top they have, coming in a little package right there, are single line seeds on a strip. And it immediately made me think of this company, and that we're really thinking about this company and wondering whether, there's going, kind of how protected their IP is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really an interesting question. Their growth isn't especially rapid, but it could accelerate after they reach profitability, potentially. A company with $2 million in revenue and losing money, what is the valuation of that? They're asking us to invest on faith that it's worth $15 million. There's a fair question in my mind about whether a company that has 2 million in revenue and is losing money after 8 years or whatever they've been in business is worth 15. It's not a crazy valuation. It's not 150,
No.
A billion, but it does seem optimistic to me a little bit. Any other thoughts or questions?
Has anybody looked at the cost curve with scaling? Like at what point does the sales cover the cost of production when you get to a certain volume?
That's a great question, Kevin. I'm sure no one in this group has the answer to that question, but it is a really important one, isn't it? Because if Fiona's analysis is right, that their revenue exceeds, or their costs of goods sold exceed their revenues, that's a tough business to invest in unless there is some real economies of scale about to kick in. Amy?
Sorry, I was just agreeing with the, underwater warning. Yeah.
That's the scariest fact of all.
Yeah, I did mention in the comments in the chat, there was a big victory garden craze during the height of COVID when folks were in lockdown and people were gardening, and that might be over. So it's worth looking at the popularity of home gardening between 2021 and now that we're all pretending COVID's over.
Yeah. It's a great point. Well, listen.
And I have one other comment.
Sure. So let's go ahead.
What we're seeing with Peloton, and wisely, they kept investing and expanding because they were seeing such success, but perhaps didn't recognize that the circumstance and timing, to your point, Amy, was a time of people needing to work out at home. So not just that they were spectacular and their ads were spectacular, but the timing and circumstance. I do, however, see a lot of people interested in gardening like right now. This actually makes me have another question. I wonder if this group might be interested in being a brain trust for some of these, to offer like a mastermind opportunity to brainstorm how to bring their costs into line, how to market in a way that sets them apart, and those that are willing and interested, we could just have a quick mastermind opportunity. I think the people in this room would have fabulous ideas that might preclude just raise more money, but instead bring yourself into a competitive space. It just is a thought.
Yeah, that's a great thought. We'll have to think about that. Max is one of the few entrepreneurs that's shown up to participate. We frequently invited them, but they rarely come. Max, did you have a final comment before we vote?
Yeah, the one quick comment is just, do they have any, what's their online strategy? I mean, I see in terms of, SaaS is a nice pathway to better project, profit margins. And I was just wondering, with that group of community, do they have any strategy of like, you know, an online course on gardening or any type of content you could log into to, like, you know, keep people hooked. I mean, it's like, because if you have the profit margins that are an issue for the seed sheets, could you add that up with a Seed Sheet Plus subscription, something that people would get excited about?
That's a great idea for them.
Yep, sorry. One of the things that I thought in their messaging they could push, and a lot of gardeners kind of give up on the garden because of the weed. Basically, the weed takes over your garden and you just are tired. But the way that they have designed it, right, that it's kind of covered. So the weed must die in the bottom, so you don't have, so all you're getting is what you planted. I'm not sure if that's underscored in their messaging, but I also imagine that at least for the East Coast, they could be very seasonal, you know, as far as sales hike.
Also, that would be a good thing to point out for people hoping how much it costs to do weed protection, how much it costs to, how you're buy the seeds, the fertilizer, and how much ahead you are, as well as your time.
Right.
Yeah, I found that in the FAQ, and it was like point number 4, and you had to click on it and then open it. It wasn't really made clear, but it seems like a real clear advantage.
Yeah, this is a close one.
The other thing I will
Close
say about
vote.
planting is, like, sometimes they'll say, drop one seed and then like an inch and a half later, another seed. And let me tell you, those seeds are so tiny. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to put the whole packet down like this. They're, you know, depending on the seeds, it can actually, like, literally make the planting function for you. But and then you won't. I usually blame myself because, I didn't do the seeds right, but now I have nobody to blame.
And
Okay,
I just
3
wanted,
of you still have not voted. Let me invite you
well,
on.
while the
to
3 of
vote.
you laggards vote, I just wanted to chip in also that I think that it might make gardening a little bit more accessible, especially for folks with arthritis. And so I think that they're missing an opportunity there to really market in that framework as well.
You need to talk to them. Good idea.
Yeah, I love the idea of a brain trust, for sure.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, there's one person left to vote. There we go. We got everybody. So the results were that the group says let's invest. So we have approved this one, which is great. I'll put a yes next to seed sheets. And now
Devin,
we turn our attention.
But before we move on, I don't want to lose sight of Celeste's point. I mean, I think that our function can be expanded beyond just investing, not investing, but actually getting to know these folks. And, you know, like Max, they may keep showing up. But, you know, some of you actually have expertise that these companies might be able to take advantage of. I don't usually, but, you know, this one, if I had this product, I voted against it. If I had this product when I farmed 2 acres or so in Maine, it would have been a huge benefit for my weeding, which I now will not do under any circumstances because I did so much of it. So, you know, I mean, again, that second option is really an interesting one. Thank you.
Yeah. That is a great point.
And
it's a great point.
And Devin, I just wanted to remind you that I'm supposed to speak for 90 seconds, and that might be a really great tie-in as well in terms of tapping into the brain trust too. So
yes, let me give you your 90 seconds. Let's do that right now.
You want to do it right now?
Yes, let's before I forget.
You're going to put me on the clock?
Yep. There you go.
Here we go. So I serve to support a number of different underbanked and underfunded entrepreneurs. And recently, an entrepreneur contacted me to say that they're having a very difficult experience with their crowdfunding campaign on Start Engine. I spent about 2 hours with her this morning and came up with 17 different points in which I think that she's really significantly being challenged by policies that are changing on a regular basis. She's promised one thing and then another thing is delivered or not delivered, or the terms are changed, the conditions are being changed, the milestones are being changed. So I just wanted to put in her information on her campaign. I won't go into all the details because she's not one of the organizations that's been chosen to vet today. But I did want to say that if you could either reach out to her if you feel like you might have some ability or capacity to support her journey through the crowdfunding experience, or reach out to me and we can put together a brain trust meeting and invite her to the meeting to speak about what her challenges are. I'm very impressed with the product, and I've now had a chance to have multiple meetings with her. So I can tell you that I think she's worth the time of investing. And I've never actually shepherded an entrepreneur all the way through the crowdfunding experience. So I'm not the best person to ally for her, but I thought I would bring this experience to the group and see if the group might be able to help out.
Thank you very,
that was
very
it.
much. And Celeste, I think Maya did drop the link into their
I
start
did. I
engine
dropped the link
campaign.
and my email, and I think I did accept the connection for LinkedIn for most of you if you reached out on LinkedIn as well. So this might be an opportunity to actually action this call to ally ourselves with entrepreneurs as well as investors.
Fantastic. Well, Maya, thank you very much. We've got our time is racing. We've got to get on to the next thing. Forgive me. The next thing is Patrice and Celeste are going to talk about their reports on aqua research. So Patrice and Celeste, did you guys coordinate? How would you like to divide up your 10 minutes?
We did. I do have to publicly apologize to Patrice. I forgot what he was calling for. And we were both talking about Devin and how wonderful you are, Devin. And I have a son named Devin, and I was about to tell him about you and realized, oh my goodness. Anyway, Patrice is way more influential and capable than he does in his introduction, by the way. Impressive man. Patrice is taking on the finances, and I took on the description of the company. Which would you like to start with?
Why don't you give us the overview, and then we'll let Patrice take the finance. And we started your 10-minute clock.
Beautiful. So the founder of Aqua Research has a long history of being a successful innovator at an incredibly impressive level. And Rodney Harrington, did I say Ron? Sorry. What I love about this product is that it uses one of, in my opinion, the most pivotal keys to development solutions that work at scale, and that is using items that are readily available in communities around the globe. The key ingredient for this important water sanitation tool is salt. Love that. Love that. So often solutions are dependent on parts that are difficult to get and replace. And that's another benefit of his innovation. It is highly durable, self-contained, and lasts an average of 10 or more years. All things that I really, really love. We're not talking replacement filters. We're not talking, it's quite remarkable, especially when you know that around the world, 2 billion people do not have access to safe drinking water. And it contributes to many, many deaths around the world, as everyone on this call knows. 1.2 million people die a year, according to their website. Oops. I
turned off your video so we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. And over 2 billion people worldwide still don't have access to it. And 1.2 million people die a year, according to the website, from waterborne diseases. So this is a really important thing to take care of. And supply chain is such an issue. I would add that it's not just somewhere else. Do you recall the big fires that happened in New Mexico last year? One of the tremendous difficulties they were having is that the ash was put into the, landed in the water backup areas, and combining with the chlorine made toxic water, made all the water in the containment area toxic. And it became a crisis that my heart was dwelling on for quite a while. So even here, having alternative water purification is incredibly important. Now, the competition for them includes one of my favorite, and their name just went, the Life Straw. Life Straw is widely known. Their product is less expensive. A starter Life Straw, I believe, was like $49, and there's comparatively for a product, they don't have like an entry product like that. They have a product that lasts 10 years for a family, yielding 10 gallons of safe water a day for actually for 10 years, and it has 50 cents a year is the cost, and adding salt to that. So 50 cents plus salt once you purchase this unit, and it's $99. So if you look at the efficacy over time, it is less, but we know that developmentally, one of the barriers is a low cost of entry. So I think there's some innovation that might be possible here. However, and I also think there's an opportunity to market to our market here in the United States, knowing that these kinds of catastrophes like that happened in New Mexico and other communities that have toxic water issues. Looking at it overall, their website is okay, not as good as Life Straw. I'd love to talk to them about some opportunities and low-hanging fruit here. However, what I saw made me really excited about the potential of this important dynamic unit that can also be applicable to hospitals, also be applicable to entire communities. I'm really glad you introduced us to it, Devin. And Patrice, you want to take it away from there?
Yes, thanks, Celeste. So if you look at their financials in terms of, if you're going to look at their income, the P&L, so you would see that you have to look at the margins. I didn't have the 2022. I didn't see it in the files, but you can see the tendency with 2020 and 2021. So the margins, they're losing some margins from 2021. I don't know if they picked it up, and but they have they have a lot of debt, and it's pretty, compared to what their equity is, it's 3 times what their equity should be. Usually, if you're looking at if you're going to be based on the financials alone, it's not a good look in terms of it's pretty high. Their current ratio, which means their ability to pay off short-term loans with what they already have in terms of their cash, in terms of their inventory, it's 4 times. So they got some room to maneuver. Now, in terms of what you call how much the cash they have, it's not a lot in terms of what their short-term liabilities. So you mean what they currently can pay and versus how much cash they have in terms of and what they have in bank. It's not a lot. So I think that's the reason they're trying to get as much loans. Most of their revenues would come from projects, from USA grants, from other projects, anything related to donors. So if you're going to look at what they're asking for, the breakdown would be, any money that they would get, their breakdown would be 50% in sales, 25% in developing their product development. The rest would go to general and administration. Now, in their financials, you don't see the breakdown of the general administration. It's not, so I can't see exactly what goes into the payroll against the rent, but it's manageable in terms. But if overall, you could say they're spending, in 2020 they were spending $500K. In 2021 they were spending $430K. So it gives you the impression that they have a better handle of their fixed costs, and But what they understand is they have a strong desire to increase their sales, and they're putting the money in it for that, so that they understand that. You look at their board members; they're very, very well experienced. These people seem to know their stuff. If they're going to push for more sales, because they do need more sales, they hired somebody that's very competent, that's been already in the industry, and so that makes it. So that's definitely something that's a plus for them. My main worry would be a better breakdown of their G&A and obviously the ratio, but I think that's why they're looking for investment. That's why they're looking for new equity in order to balance that. But on a pure development project to fund, I think it's definitely something that should be pushed in terms of experiment. My 2 cents.
Fantastic. Well, Celeste and Patrice, are you ready to take some questions?
Sure, I would add one thing there, and you touched on it, Patrice, so sorry if I'm repeating, that they do have PATH and USAID and several others as clients that they're serving. And it looked to me like that's a development that is tipping towards more uptake.
Indeed.
Do you guys recommend that we invest or not?
I do.
It's a go for me too.
Okay. Group, before we vote, do you have any questions?
Are there customers in the prospect line other than USAID or some other development agencies? Are there commercial folks? Are there governments? Selling to USAID is okay, but it's really limited. And and if they're only with AID, then why aren't they with GIZ? Why aren't they with all the other development agencies? So I'm really impressed with their board and their leadership. But relying on AID is relying on the timeline of an agency.
Truly. I did ask or reach out to ask that. However, only a few days ago, in fairness, I have not heard back, but it was only a few days ago. So I personally do not know the answer to that. I didn't see evidence of that. I see a opportunity for them to market to more mainstream communications, and that's certainly not been gleaned at all, but I can speak.
Okay.
Yes, and Kevin, you're right in terms of they didn't. That was one of my initial thoughts. They don't necessarily need to concentrate in donor funded, but they do have avenues where it could work, like military could work, especially if they're being deployed, first responders. So those are also things they're looking into. So, but like I said, I didn't see the marketing plan. But it's that market can definitely grow if they know what they're doing.
Right. Okay.
Again, I found myself wishing we could do a mastermind for them for 15 minutes. Right?
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. I wish I were bored looking for things to do, but let me think about how we can make that work. We don't have time in these meetings to meet with the investors or with the companies and continue doing what we've been doing. So we'll have to sort out how we do that, but I think it is worth pursuing. There are still 3 of you who haven't voted. So the vote is up. It's possible that the vote slipped behind your screen that you're using. So minimize your Zoom screen to pull up your poll so you can vote.
I'm Devin. Devin, I'm in Haiti. Do I still get to vote because I'm a bit biased?
Yes, you are welcome to vote. Now everyone has voted. So I'm going to share those results. This was overwhelmingly in favor. So I'm thrilled to see that. So we're now kind of to the education moment of the day. So I'll record that we're going to, we approved Aqua Research as well. Now, I'm always of two minds when we approve a deal. And the two minds are that on the one hand, I am thrilled that we're investing, that we found a company that's good. On the other hand, I'm nervous that we're not doing enough diligence when we, especially when we approve 5 out of the last 5 we've considered. Now, part of that is we're doing a good job of screening, but I hope we will continue to really be thoughtful. Now, for the education moment today, the plan is I'm going to make an investment. And so you approved Aqua Research. I don't have an account with Net Capital, I don't think. And let's see, let me just check.
And Devin, you're comfortable if we share this recording with others who are learning to invest in crowdfunding, right?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. This is such a great opportunity.
Yeah, so I am going to have to sign up. Let's see, so my name, my email, give them a phone number. None of that is top secret. I may pause the recording here in a minute for some of this, but let's see if I can get the, I have not received the code. Oh, they sent it to my email. I was looking in my, on my text. Okay, sorry. Not seeing it in my email either.
Check spam. Check your spam.
Check spam. There it is. I found it. I appreciate your patience with me, guys. Obviously, it's hard to sign up if you have already signed up, but it's also hard to know all the steps if you haven't done it. So I'm in a little bit of a catch-22. I'm going to use my doodad thing here to generate a password. So it doesn't like the password that I think oh, there we go. There's the problem. Okay, so now I'm in, I can go back. I want to invest. Tell me if you see it, where to go. There it is. View offering, invest. So I click on the invest button. And I'm going to do the 99.43 minimum. And it wants now my birthday. And I'm going to pause the recording. Let's see, how do I?
You don't have to show us your
Devin,
date
you
of
can also
birth.
just stop sharing screen temporarily.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing for a second. There we go.
Either that or just give us your
I'm not embarrassed, but I do want to maintain a modicum of privacy on there. So back to sharing.
Yeah, because we'd all hack you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I trust all of you. It's the people that might
people
get
the
access
recording
to
gets shared
late.
with.
Yeah. So now I'm going to enter my address.
You might want to.
And that's, oh, I don't live in Micronesia. That's an interesting.
Jacksonville, Micronesia. Wow, that's a city I haven't heard of before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's how I'll hold those shares. I'm a US citizen. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for a second while I enter my social security number. So I entered my social security number. And it's asking for my annual income. And so I hide that, but you see this screen, right? And it's going to ask for my annual income, and I'm going to answer that honestly. And my net worth. And I'm going to make
that's to determine whether you're accredited, right?
it doesn't need to, it's not asking for the sake of whether I'm accredited. It doesn't care whether I'm accredited, but there is a formula that determines how much I can invest based on not being accredited. And that formula requires that you know my net worth and income. So I've shared that. And now we're on to the next thing. And so on the next screen, well, it's disclosing what I answered. So anyway, I'm going to put in my 9943. And now it's going to ask for a card, just like if I were, let's see, card. So I think we can kind of hide this because of the way I have this.
The good news
out.
is, Devin, you're modeling excellent two-factor authentication here.
Right.
I've slowly been forced, like a lot of grown-ups, into doing things the right way. So it's interesting. This is the first website I've ever done an investment where they allow me to invest with a credit card. So I'm paying $3.50 of a convenience fee for that. And so I've just done that. So I can now add a comment. Okay, I offered to help them with mentoring. Now they got some money from us. Okay, so that's it. That I wanted to just demonstrate as our education moment, in case there are any of you who have not yet done that it is reasonable and possible to do that quickly. So our meeting has run long. I've got to do a better job of managing time. I apologize for that. We have 2 companies that we're going to look at for next month. We don't even have time to really thoughtfully review the videos, but Jackie Logan did a great job of telling us about Raise Green, which is one of our 2 companies for next month, if we decide to proceed. Is there anyone that would volunteer to do due diligence on Raise Green for our next meeting? Maya has volunteered. Thank
I
you.
haven't done it in a while. It seems like it's my turn now.
And
Max?
Maya, I will help you because I did some looking at them a few months ago, but I can't be here
Okay.
next month. So,
Works
but
for
you
me.
and I can do it offline.
Yeah, it works for me. That sounds great.
Thank you, Chip. I really appreciate that. The next company is a company called Zero Carbon. And so we did a vote, right? All the members voted, and Zero Carbon came up as one of those that we should vote to include. And they're turning municipal waste and sewage and agricultural waste into clean burning hydrogen. So it is a very intriguing idea. Hydrogen is clearly a key to future. When we burn hydrogen, unlike fossil fuels, you can burn hydrogen in much the same way that you can burn fossil fuels, but it doesn't generate any carbon. It's zero carbon when you burn it. So the key is to create it without fossil fuels, without carbon. Most of the ways we create hydrogen today are very carbon intensive. So it just changes the point of emission. It doesn't eliminate it. It's sort of like an electric car. that is powered by coal-fired power plants, right? It just moves the emissions a little bit. So we want to, so this is one. Is there a volunteer to look at this one next month? Zero carbon. Any volunteers? If there are no volunteers to look at it, we won't look at it.
I'll do. Well,
Yeah, I'll
Is that
look
you,
at it too.
Patrice? Who volunteered? Is that you and Kevin? Patrice and
Kevin
Kevin?
volunteered. Kevin volunteered
Patrice
first.
and Kevin, yeah.
Kevin volunteered first.
I think Kevin and Patrice volunteered. Was that right?
Yes,
Yeah, yes.
not by myself.
Okay, so
yeah.
I'll put you both in.
Okay.
I'll put you both down for that.
And
And
Devin,
you'll
I
send
had
the
a
link
request for the
whatever,
education
right?
piece.
Yeah, what do you want for the education for next month?
If anyone is using a due diligence checklist, could you bring that checklist to the next meeting so that we can sort of begin to create a sort of a templated due diligence checklist that I think we could share publicly with folks who are starting to look at this?
I think that's a great idea to formalize our process a little bit. Does anybody want to propose to do that?
I will certainly bring mine. I have 2 or 3 different ones, so I'll sort of seed the stone soup. But it would be
Okay.
great if we could create some stone soup.
Yeah, I can share some of the ratios
Yeah.
that I have. I usually send them before, but I was pressed by time.
Yeah.
I have
Celeste, you asked a great question in the chat. Let me address that. In a legal sense, the Impact Cherub Club doesn't exist. And in a way, I like that. We reached conclusions together. There are no expenses. I'm not paying franchise fees. I'm not paying, we're really trying to go with a zero cost, zero dues model. The moment we decide to create an entity that holds cash and charges dues, I fear that the costs of running the club would exceed the amount we're investing. And that seems counterproductive. That said, as the group scales, there is a point at which the group grows to where it makes perfect sense to do that, because the costs of administering the club would be small relative to the what we're investing, and it would make sense to do it better. So it's not a crazy idea, and other clubs work exactly that way. And there are a variety of models for these kinds of things, but we have chosen so far not to do that, and I don't think we have the scale yet. That's my view, but we can revisit that question from time to time, because in a way it would be fun to all chip
Personally,
in.
I like the informal, non-scaled way this works. I've been part of investor circles that were self-important, and I don't like them. I mean, I'm in a lot of investor circles, the loudest voice is the voice you listen to, and I'd left most of those investor circle kinds of things because I didn't want to battle the egos, and sometimes my ego gets in the way too. So.
Yeah. I can relate to that, Kevin. My ego gets in the way sometimes. As soon as I have an opinion, as soon as I express an opinion, I marry it. Yeah. So are you as a group, are we okay holding off on formalizing this process for now and just continuing with our informal process, at least for a few more months? Okay. Okay, great point, Maya. Well, listen, we're over our time. I apologize for that. I'm so grateful for all of you. Our next meeting is on April 18th at 1 p.m. So that's 4 weeks from today, 10 a.m. Pacific time, of course. In between now and then, I keep saying this, I think this is the 3rd month in a row. Between now and then, I will have launched my crowdfunding campaign for the Super Crowd Inc. And when that happens, I apologize, but I will certainly let you know that that has happened and invite you to take the opportunity to share your resources with us. But anyway, we'll see you. And I also hope you'll sign up for Super Crowd 23 if you haven't already. Many of you are participating on the program. Thank you all. Have a great week. Have a great 4 weeks. We'll see you soon.